You know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life. This and that for life. I'm on this for life, nigga. This a blood oath. Hey, yo, Madara. Here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the rebel. The world turned its back on me. I'm a crippling. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I tell you once. Don't pray for nothing, sin and curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rank is given, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business. This loyalty's a damn sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind field. Hey, they said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. Them devils ain't playing fair. They hunt you like Van Pelt, but ain't no getting out the game like Jumanji. You take that oath, it's a Dundee. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times, and it's death do us part. No. So how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go this zone. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing, ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fuck 'em, raise it. I pity those watching life as it goes by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. In pump smoke, never try to. The dead at home, my brother be the dead, it's all I don't. In the photo, salute my nigga. They like, how you stay focused? I told them I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. Now I never do my niggas like Bishop did Raheem. Never mind in all beliefs, they under anesthesia. Shorty say she need me, said she wanna let that love go. Told I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood oath. So, how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go this zone. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah.
Yeah, don't have messed up, no. Bad news is to beat your home, nigga. Yeah. Go on, get on that ass real quick one time. 144, baby.
They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me whole thought. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about any part. I need a Vaselina like my Nina Puffer bar. Took a Zoc, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like the dark. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shane Shaw. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Harper Free. Try to hope it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Told them boys we taking over. Call them up like set the date. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses, make moves. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I make hits like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, the whole part. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the fart. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife and your fork. He ain't locked in with the cow, then with the speaking to me fart. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion. They can see the outcome. Get them niggas bad, got them tied down and outdone. You can't do with them steppers. Niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they pray that beat, I read that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we whole start. Yeah, ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. I told you niggas, you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our car. And I just made the call. We gon' start another war. Yeah. Backstage.
Yeah, nigga. Fake ass nigga.
You ain't no Israelite, bitch, you a gospelite, bitch.
Fuck you talking about?
If that nigga won't war, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade you line up. Young nigga name is Slayer. What you think, boy, you be done to try. Soft cold shit, we bout it. UPK shoot solid. Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood. Hood. More than you, bitch. Sharp on shit, I'm bout it. UPK shoot solid. Fuck nigga don't want war. It ain't enough clips in your army. All the bitches wanna take my piece. All the hoes wanna take my piece. All the nigga wanna take my piece. No, I can't let a dog take it from me. I can't let a dog take it from me. You a hoe study and you dummy. And these bitches really out this bitch walk around like they don't know nothing. And a lame nigga fall for 'em and get set up for the coins and get gunned down, man down. Shoulda took the time, get a damn no. But I see the shawty and I show her. She could never get a piece hold. You a dirt ass, rust ass neck bitch with a fake ass jewelry. In Tennessee while I'm touring. It's a Tennessee, but she luring. And a sucker duck bitch ass boy, fuck nigga over that bit muggin'. I say, if that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade you line up. Young nigga name is Slayer. What you think, boy, you be done to try. Soft cold shit, we bout it. UPK shoot solid. Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood. Hood. More than you, bitch. You a lame nigga down to me. Eat candy, but I'm sucker free. You a little nigga, ain't none of me. Base up, boy, I fit a beat. Yeah, AR 223. Draco with a magazine. Yeah, the clip run like limousine. I shoot your ass in the spleen. Boy, I bust your ass in the temple. We debating by the temple. Tell the truth, boy, you's a victim. And you're scoring off like a lizard. Nigga walk down my road. Why does nigga come down my road? Boy, come down my road. Boy, I charge your ass toll fee. I'm a real big priest, nigga. UPK play for keys, nigga. Commander General get a damn order, but ain't nothing me to damn kill you. I stuck in his ass like a cat. All weapons, boys full of tech. Boy, like a close combat. Nigga, I popped off for a neck. If that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade you line up. Young nigga name is Slayer. What you think, boy, you be done to try. South Coast shit, we bout it. UPK shoot solid. Little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way. What you think? I love this brotherhood. Hood. More than you, bitch.
Christ said 7 women gonna be on one nigga in the end time. Nigga, fuck wrong with you, boy. Stressed by that damn hoe ass bitch. Fake ass nigga too. Dumb ass motherfucker. Fuck you.
Backstage.
All right, Shalom, Lord Christ, Israel, Salaki. We're going to get started in just a second. Just bear with me. Bear with me as I share my screen. Salaki. All right, mic check, mic. 1 second. All right, Shalom, Israel. This Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. So, like, your 1 second. All right. Brother Melik. Yeah, we're gonna teach the Hebrew. We're gonna teach the Hebrew alphabet. We're gonna teach the Hebrew language tonight. So any Lashawan Qadash, which is what Lashawan Qadash means. Lashawan Qadash just means holy tongue. All right, which is the Hebrew. So yes, to answer your question, we are gonna teach the Hebrew tonight. So it would be wise. It would behoove you to have a pen and pad. You know what I mean? Available and ready so that you can take notes, especially tonight, because what we're gonna go over tonight is gonna be very important for you to understand, so that you can what's the word? Further your knowledge in the Lashawan Qadash. So ask any question that you want to ask. All right, any question that you need to understand the Lashawan Qadash, ask it tonight. All right, as every night. You know what I mean? It's the ISUPK, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are the home of the truth. So as any class, no matter what class you attend or what class you participate in, you can always ask your questions. But I'm urging you tonight to ask your questions in the Lashawan Qadash, and make sure you, like the brother asked online, make sure you got your pen and pad, your notebook, your resources available with you tonight, because we're going to go over something that's going to be very important for your understanding of Lashawan Qadash. All right, last week we Salakia. You noticed that I got the Lashawan Qadash alphabet shared on the screen. I'm gonna keep it like that for most of the night. You should have it in your notes, written down somewhere. If you're a diligent student, you know what I mean, if you're an aspiring teacher, or whatever the case is at the Lashawan Qadash, if you're serious about learning your language and culture, you would have it written down in your notes. All right, but I got it on the screen. All right, and tonight we're gonna focus in on the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. Last week we kind of went into it a little bit. Because as you're reading, you know what I mean, as you're reading the Lashawan Qadash, you might start to realize, I should have, let me leave that there for right now. But as you start to read the Lashawan Qadash, you might notice that certain characters look alike. All right. As you're reading, you might fumble and stumble over certain characters, because the cha looks like a ha, and the ha looks like a tha, and the ka looks like a ra, and the ra looks like a wa. Right? You might fumble over certain characters as we're reading over. Tonight we're gonna go over how to minimize, you know what I mean, confusing one character for another. All right, we've already done this in the past. We're gonna do it again, just so we can, you know what I mean, just so we can, you know what I mean, get it to register. All right, so that we can, you know what I mean, we got new brothers and sisters, or, you know what I mean, just if the Lashawan Qadash is something that kind of is intimidating, which is intimidating for a lot of brothers and sisters, this class is going to be very important for you to understand. All right. So we're going to get right into it. All right. So, like, for example, like last week, we went into, we started off, we kind of touched on it a little bit. This is a ka, you know what I mean? This is a ka, this is a wa, this is a na, and this is a ra. Right? All of these characters kind of look similar. And if you see these things, it might get very discouraging. Like you constantly you can't read a single word. Like you get the one word and you stuck on a single word for about half an hour because everything looks similar. All right. And I'm gonna tell you this, like once you get to that point where it feels like you're not making any progress or you feel like you know what I mean, it's more difficult than you might have anticipated or whatever the case is, that's where we give up. You know what I mean? Because our lives is already difficult. We already got to go face hell when we go to work. Then we got to come home and face hell with our families. And we got to, with our immediate families, our wives and our kids. And then we got to go and face hell with our birth families, our mothers, our fathers, our brothers. We got to go face hell everywhere we go. We got to go out into the world and then deal with a brother in Walmart, you know what I mean, me mugging you down. You got to face hell in Walmart. You got to face hell in your car while you're driving around, you know what I mean, worried about whether the police is going to pull you over for no reason and harass you, whether some oppressor is going to harass you, whether you going to, you know what I mean, whether your car is going to be able to make it from A to B. You know what I mean? We already face hell in so many different directions. So we trying to learn our language and our culture and our identity, and we face a difficulty. We like, man, forget this, man. Because we already got so much, we already catching hell from so many different directions. All right. But things like this is the type of things that'll make you give up. But I promise you, you stick with me tonight, we're going to get all of that. And if you ask your questions tonight, we're going to get all of those things ironed out. And we're going to get this simplified. This is very simple. This, I know it looks complicated. I know it might sound or feel complicated when we're dealing with it because, again, we're catching hell from everywhere else. But I promise you, this is very easy. All right? And we, if you've been in, you know what I mean, if you've been in any of my Lashawan Qadash classes in the past, you know that I typically deal with the Assyrian for that reason, because it's the most difficult, or not the most difficult, I won't say that, but it's typically the, so of course we got the Lashawan Qadash, we got the ancient Hebrew, which is what you see at the top. If you can't see it on the board, I know it sometimes could be a glare, but if you can't see it on the board, you should be able to see it on the screen. But at the top, you got the ancient Hebrew. You got A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Cha, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Ha, Tiza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Ta. All right. You got the ancient Hebrew up at the top. All right, pretty straightforward. There's 22 characters, and each character has one pictogram. All right, but then you get to the Assyrian, and it's the same characters: Abba, Gada, Hawaza, so on and so forth. All right, you're gonna see a couple things. All right, you're gonna see a couple things. If you look on that sheet that's zoomed in, on the screen at the bottom, right? So right here, and the sheet that's on the screen is the exact same one that we got up here, right? So we're gonna be looking at this one, because again, this one up top is pretty straightforward. I mean, we can deal with it if y'all want to. If y'all got any questions about the ancient Hebrew, which is up top, feel free to ask, and we'll go ahead and answer those. But if there are no questions about the ancient Hebrew, I'm going to deal with the Assyrian Hebrew, because that's the part that brothers and sisters tend to get discouraged on. All right, but if you look at the bottom part, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters that have 2 pictograms. Like, remember, you got the hand up? Go ahead.
Do you?
Let me get you a mic while you Mike.
Besides the ancient and the Assyrian being like different characters, obviously they look different. Like what is the complete difference between them?
So the difference, as simple as I can make it, is just the time period. So this is the most ancient version of the Lashawan Qadash. So like what we read last week in that book that I showed you, it said that our language went through a couple of periods of development, right? So this is the most ancient. This is the most ancient version of our language. So it started off as pictographs, or our language is pictographs, right? But over time, like okay, for example, like the ancient used to look like this. So it'd be something like this or something. All right. Because the I stands for, this is the I, right? Which is the same as this character, which is the same as this, right? Mm-hmm. So this is what the I used to look like. I stands for I, because each character has a pictograph. You know what a pictograph is?
I can explain the picture.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Just a picture that, if you want to look it up, that'll probably be helpful as well to you. But this is just a picture. Well, I'll let you look it up first, and then I'll explain. We'll grab my water right quick.
Oh, okay.
But what's that definition you got?
Pictograph, a pictorial symbol from a word or phrase.
So that's what these are. Our language was a pictographical language. So we just, like, this is like, what does this look like? Before I even tell you. And anybody online, as we going through it, y'all more than welcome to answer any questions or make any comments that y'all need to in the chat. All right. Okay, no sweat. All right. So, all right, I'll just tell you then. Okay. So the I comes from the word Allah. Allah, which means cow or ox. So you kind of see it now? What that looks like? Okay. Well, I'm not the best artist. Salaki. But the I is represented by like a sideways cow or ox head. Right? So you see it now, or I know it's not the best. Okay, no sweat. But that's supposed to be. Right. All right. That's just me drawing. All right. But Allah means cow. Mm-hmm. And that's where the pictograph "ah" comes from. And just so I'm going right to left, just for the sake of the language, because we write from right to left. So this is the most ancient version of the character, right? What we got right here. And then it turned into over time, right? Like we read in the Hebrew workbook and textbook. Our language went through a period of development over time. It was more efficient to write it like this than like this, because if you're trying to say something quick, you're trying to say something, be efficient with the language, it's not efficient to be drawing, you know what I mean, to be trying to draw an ox head and then all these different, and each character has a pictograph. Right. So it went from this to this for practicality. So this is just a simplified version of this, mm-hmm. which is what you see at the top. So this is also an I, but this is just a sideways ox or cow's head. Like if I drew it here, like if I straightened it out, it'll be like this would be the face of the cow, and then this would be the horn. All right, this would be the ear. It's just that simple. You feel me? But that's where that comes from. Now, the Assyrian Hebrew comes from our captivity under the Assyrians. Because, huh? No, no, go ahead.
I'm going to ask you the Assyrian.
The Assyrians are, let's see. Get the genre about dictionary right quick. Let me see. So, lastly, bear with me 1 second. While I'm looking for it, it's just another nation, right? Other than another nation that aren't Israelites that had us in captivity. We find exactly who they are. Assyria, Latin. All right. You remember are you familiar with the prayer that we read, Psalms 83, during Sabbath service?
Definitely, I don't know about it.
They take crafty counsel against, they have taken crafty counsel against our people. Mm-hmm. You familiar with that? They are one of the nations that have taken, right. So they are one of the nations that came together to make sure Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, so-called, don't remember themselves as Israelites. We only remember ourselves as so-called Black people, Hispanic, or Native Americans because of the Assyrians. So they're just one of those nations. Egyptians. Let me see. I believe they're a Hamitic nation. Before I even before I make that assumption, let me make sure. All right, so Assyria, originally a land between Upper Tigris and Zab rivers, first mentioned in the Bible, Genesis 2:14. Assyria and Assyrians are frequently named sometimes as Ashur or Assur, right? Which is what we just talked about in Psalm 83. They're definitely one of our enemies, right? They had us in captivity. In the 10th century began a powerful and systematic advance under Salmanassar. Assyrians turned toward Palestine and all right, for me to pinpoint exactly who the Assyrians are, I believe they're a Hamitic, pertaining to like the Middle East or like a Middle Eastern nation, like today. But for me to get you a pinpoint accurate answer, I'd have to come right back to that. But point is, they had us in captivity, right? And that's the reason why we went from this to now. We got what is it? So you look down from here to here, the I turns from this to come. You gotta
Was they because they pretty much identified the language and could use it against us, so we like switched it up so that they couldn't pretty much.
So so like, go ahead and finish your question.
Right. Basically, what I was trying to say, like they understood it from the pictographs and whatnot, so we kind of might maybe switched it over to the Assyrian, so they wouldn't identify the language the same, or it just kind of like happened over time.
That's exactly what happened. So what we did was we were in captivity, and much like how they always do, like they put us in captivity. Like if you look from Genesis, right? They made it from if you look at Genesis or not Genesis, Exodus. You look at the Exodus story. You look at all the stories where we were taken into heavy bondage. They would make it pretty much illegal for us to practice our culture. That's always what your oppressor does. That's why today you see what's his name. You see all these celebrities. Name some celebrities that came out and said that start wearing the shield of David. Start saying the Jews are black. Kyrie Irving. Who it was? Kanye.
Yep, Kanye.
It's a brother who played for a football player. But you see any celebrity that comes out and says that this is the shield of David and this belongs to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and they gotta pay. Like I think Kyrie had to pay $6 billion to the so-called Jewish man for saying that. He didn't even say nothing. He just posted a link to a documentary that he watched. It's not illegal to, share. Like we watch movies and documentaries all day. It's not illegal to share it, but because he said he shared something that suggested that the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today may be the Israelites of antiquity, he had to pay $6 million to the so-called Jewish man. And that's usually the first step that they take when they want to, because we go back to Psalms 83, the whole point is so that they can make us, they took crafty counsel against our people so that the name of Israel be no more remembered. So that's usually the first thing that they do. They take us into captivity. First, they trick us into joining with them. And then once we take the bait and join with them, follow after their customs, then they demonstrate cruelty to us, and then they implement laws that make it illegal for us to be able to practice our culture. So that's why you see the same thing today. Why they find? Go ahead.
With slavery, such as we first got brought over from Africa, whatever that they try to say, but
the first thing that they wanted to do was beat our names out of us. We had Hebrew names over there. Because when we was in Africa, when we went to Africa in 70 AD, we were fleeing Roman persecution. So we were, to blend in. So we had Hebrew names. We were just fleeing their persecution to blend in amongst dark-skinned people. So we had our culture. That's why if you look at that map, we had a land called Negro land. That's why they were easily able to sift us out of their culture because we had our own culture. But the first thing that they want to do is to take our culture from us, so that you can't practice your culture. You can't keep the Passover. You can't keep the Feast of Hanukkah. You can't wear a shield of David. You know what I mean? You gotta, brothers gotta, shave their heads bald like the so-called African does, or things like that. We have to practice their culture, and they make it illegal for us to practice our own culture. That's usually the first thing that happens. So what we did was assimilate our language for fear of, for fear of, so that we can be, just like you said, so that we can kind of fly under the radar. We kind of made our language more similar to their language. Right, so they look at our language as barbaric because we got pictographs. Like our language looks like this, but Assyrian language, they language kind of looked like their language was like linear. It was like lines, boxes, and dashes and things like that. And so that we can kind of blend out. And I'm not saying this is what the Assyrian language looks like. This is just just a kind of an example of the type of language that they had. It was more linear. So we kind of made our language similar to what their language was, so that, like you said, so that we can kind of, our language would look like theirs so that we wouldn't get caught practicing our culture and language amongst their people. All right. But okay, so our language went from this to this to this. All right. And you'll see most documents will have this bottom row. Like it'll be like we read in during Sabbath service, Bible Hub, right? Or if you look at Blue Letter Bible or the Tanakh, the Torah, which we got on this bookshelf, you're looking at that English to Hebrew workbook and textbook that we read last week. All of them use this bottom row. Now you might see some more ancient documents, like some what's it called? Like if you go and look at the more ancient, like the Los Lunas stones or the, you know what I mean, some ancient what is it, like ancient temples, you know what I mean, things like that, ancient engravings and like caves and things like that. You might see something like, you might see this ancient Hebrew, but most documents that we read today is going to have the Assyrian Hebrew. All right. So that's why it's important for us to understand this ancient Hebrew or this Assyrian Hebrew, because that's what most documents are going to be written in. But that's how we got from here to here. But this each of these pictographs has each of these characters has a pictograph associated with it. All right. So you got Ah, which is Allah, which is cow, Ba, Bayat, which is house, God, Gamal, which is camel, Da, Dalat, door, so on and so forth. All right. We did a couple classes. If you want me to go through them, I can. But it's a couple classes that we done did on that. All right. So, okay, so ancient is the Assyrian Hebrew, right? The Assyrian has 5 characters. This is one of the first things you want to understand about the Assyrian Hebrew. It has 5 characters that has 2 pictograms, right? So each character has a pictograph. There's some characters that has 2. So, but you want to mark in your, go ahead. No.
I was saying, I remember last week you were saying because sometimes you use in the beginning of the word and then the end of the word.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that gets brothers tripped up. All right. Is that we familiar with, because we're used to just seeing the ancient Hebrew, right? But that's the easiest one to learn, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree, but because there's only 22 characters and it's not those double ups. Go ahead.
I know you have.
No, go ahead. You good.
Now, which one did you learn first, like the Assyrian or?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I learned the ancient, simply because I personally thought it was the easiest.
Because all the characters look different, pretty much.
Exactly. But this is also what I did. Now, I wish I had my notebook with me, because I wanted to show you something. But Salakia. But so I learned the ancient Hebrew at first because it was the easiest thing to learn. But I knew that I had to hone it if I wanted to learn it, right? If I wanted to learn this language, if I wanted to be able to read the ancient texts like the Tanakh, the Torah, if I wanted to read Bible Hub, if I wanted to read during Sabbath service, I knew that I had to hone in on the Assyrian Hebrew because that's what they're written in. So the ancient Hebrew was real easy, but I had to like put in effort. And I'm gonna show you what I mean here in a second. Go ahead.
But what if you like? Yeah, like no. I was gonna say, what if you like go on the effort and take like the um the Assyrian Hebrew and just write all the prayers out. I mean, in the ancient Hebrew, he write them all out, but I know that'll be fun.
Well, what you saying, Salaki?
So like basically, if you just basically translated all the prayers over so that you can read it from the ancient.
Okay. From the ancient or the Assyrian?
From the ancient, like I'm saying, like how it's all written out in the Assyrian. Say if I was to like actually learn the ancient to make it easier for me to read the prayers, and then like just take them and translate them over, and then
it might if no, that's absolutely possible. All you would just go letter by letter, but you would have to go. Okay, so you would have to go into. So where would you find the ancient prayers, the prayers that we go through? Where would you find it at? Where did we find them at?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So all those prayers are in the Bible. So the Psalms 83 is literally in Psalms 83. Right? Psalms 121, Psalms 21. So you would just go to those books and chapters and look at them, but they're going to be written in the Assyrian. So if you wanted to translate them into the ancient, then you could just go into the Assyrian and then go character by character. It's gonna be tedious, but you're just gonna have to do it like that, and then go character by character, and you would just get what you need. But so which one? Let me ask you, which one is easier for you?
From the looks of it, because I never tried to do the ancient, but I tried to like learn the Assyrian at home, like by myself without watching a video. And it is like hard. You actually gotta like watch your videos, to actually like be in class.
Okay, so you would say that the Assyrian is harder.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's typically what brothers and sisters say. Like, but that's typically what brothers and sisters say. Like, the ancient is real easy because it's straightforward. It ain't too many nuances because we're gonna go through a couple of them, but it's not too many that it's not too much that'll trip you up in the ancient because it's like you said, every character looks different. But the Assyrian, there's a lot of characters that kind of look similar or the same. All right. So what I personally, like to answer your question, I learned the ancient easiest, but because the Assyrian is hard or was harder to me to learn, I had to kind of spend more time on the Assyrian. So I had to do certain things. Like, I'm gonna give you a couple tips. Like right now, like, okay, so the first thing I had to understand is that these 5 characters, or no, Salaki. Before we get to those 5 characters, what I had to do and what I recommend to every brother and sister is to take every single character and get familiar with it. Like, you know how in kindergarten, you would, I think I said this before too. You had to learn your ABCs, right? Mm-hmm. And before you spelled any word, before you read any word, you had to go through and write down. Yeah, exactly. That's how you're gonna have to do this, that's how I did it. So I had to go, and I wrote it real big and dramatic. Like, I wish I had my notebook with me. That's Salaki on my part. But if I had my notebook with me, I would just show you what I did. I have an entire composition notebook filled with what I'm about to show you on the board. So I wrote it real big and dramatic on the board. I think I wrote it in the ancient and Assyrian. And then I went, and I just did it over and over. Like, I just did I just did it over and over. so that it becomes muscle memory, right? And then I did it in the ancient which is easy because it's just a sideways A, which is where your oppressors or get their language from, the oppressors' English alphabet, which is what the brother said in the chat. It's just like the oppressors' English. But that's what I did. I just wrote the characters real big and dramatic so I could get the muscle memory in my hands, and then I just wrote it over and over. And I filled an entire sheet of paper on the front, and I think I went to the back as well, but I just went front to back. You don't have to do this. I just kind of overkilled it, but I would go just one sheet of paper, completely fill the front, and write the characters over and over and over again, and then go to the next character, Bob, and then do it over and over and over again, so that you get the muscle memory. So that's the first thing that you want to do. And then after you do that, because the scriptures say, unless you become as little children, then you can't see the kingdom of heaven. Now, we went through, if we're learning anything, even as adults, we become as children. Like, we come in, we admit we don't know nothing. We sit down and we do what we got to do to learn whatever it is that our oppressors are trying to teach us, whether it's their language, their culture. We go through elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and we sit down and we learn what they're trying to teach us. That's what we got to do with our language. We got to become as children. So the same thing, like how we, for example, before you even start writing, you learn the ABC song, right? So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, you know the ABC song. That was the first thing that you learned. And before you even understood that was a language, you just knew it as a song. The first thing that you're going to want to learn is just the Lashawan Qadash alphabet from A to Tha, right? That's the first thing that you're going to want to learn. So Abba, Gada, Hawaza, Khata, Yaka, Lama, Nasa, I, Pataza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Tha. Right? You're going to want to be able to say that from A to Tha, from beginning to end. And then once you're able to do that, then you're going to want to do what we just got done talking about, which is go character by character and learn each character. Then after you do that, then identify each one of these individual or each one of these characters that has a character for the beginning of the word and for the end. And then once you got that, then that's pretty much it right there. So you got all right, so before I even get into that, I might go into this maybe in like a week or two. All right. I'm gonna leave this up here for now. But do you have the Lashawan Qadash written down anywhere?
The actual word?
Just the characters. Like,
oh yeah.
You got it written down? Mm-hmm. With the sounds as well? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, no sweat. All right, let's run through it real quick.
Oh no, not with the sound. I actually have definitely. Well, yes, I do.
Okay. You mind if I just take a look real quick?
This is the original stuff, and this is from last class.
Okay. So this is this down here. This is the cheat sheet.
Right.
This is just the prepositions and the possessors. All right. So the prepositions and possessors are based on the characters, mm-hmm. But the first thing that I would do is write down each character. All right. So let's do this real quick. Let's do this. Before we go into this, we're gonna go into this next week. All right. The first thing you're gonna want to do, are you able to see this? You ain't got no problem. Okay, no sweat. you able to read you able to read what we got right here?
Ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, cha. Ka, ka.
So this one right here is pronounced ha, like a, it's like a, like you hopping a loop. Ha,
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 right.
ha.
So ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za,
Ha,
ha,
ha. Ta, ya, ka, la.
And this is why I said this is, you have to pronounce this very deliberate. You have to put that ha on it.
Ha.
Right. Because then you got right here, what's this right here?
Ka.
Ka.
Mhm.
So if you pronounce this like ka, then it's gonna be, you're gonna be confused between these two characters.
Mhm.
So this is a ka, this is a ka.
Ha.
Right.
La, ma, na, sa, a, ha. Tawa, taza, taza,
Ka.
taza.
Right.
Wa, ra, sha, da.
Right. So that's the first thing you're going to want to do. All right. Go through each character. You go through each pronunciation. Each character, each pronunciation, and be able to say it from ah to ta. Now, one thing I did to before for me to learn the Lashawan Qadash, one thing I did was like I did the exact same thing that your kindergarten teacher did, so that you can learn the alphabet, which is put it to a song. So we already know the ABC cadence. I just put that same cadence to the Lashawan Qadash. So I'm gonna do it again. All right. So the ABC is A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y and Z. Right. What I did with the Lashawan Qadash was Ba Ga Da Ha Wa Za Ka Ta Ya Ka La Ma Na Sa I Ha Ta Za Kwa Ra Sha Ta. So that's pretty much, that's the cadence I use. All right. And if you gotta sing to yourself, you gotta sing the ABC song. I ain't gonna sing the ABC song to you. It's a lot. But if that's what you gotta do, because that's what I had to do with myself. I had to do that. And that's what's gonna help you. And once you put that cadence to it, then it's just gonna make it real easy for you.
You record me saying it, then just put an audio on.
Come on. Hey, if that's what you gotta do, you know what I mean? Whatever, like, it's really like this language is so simple. It's so simple. Well, the only thing, to be honest, the only thing that's missing is the care for it. The care. That's really what it is. It's real easy. Just like it was easy to learn your ABCs, just like it comes real easy for you to learn certain things in the world. The Lashawan Qadash is real easy, but the main reason why it could seem, or it could seem not tedious, but the reason why some brothers and sisters might have or don't know it is because of care for it. So you just gotta care for it. So all you gotta do is like that cadence one time. You put the ABC, A B C D E F G, Abba Gada Ha Waza. You know what I mean? You put the same cadence to it, then you're gonna learn it. It's gonna be burnt in your memory. You do that over and over. Like I don't know if any brother told you this as well, but it's a similar thing for like how you learn the salute, the salute, the salute. Like for you to learn Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah, like I think some brothers like they kind of like they had to learn it with the Macarena song, right? So they said Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah, and they just say it over and over to themselves. right? It's the same thing, but the reason why we do things like that is because we care. You just have to put that care into it. All right. So that's the first thing. All right. So you learn the Lashawan Qadash from Adatha, and then you write it. So like for example, like what I would do, uh, if you don't have it written down anywhere in your notebook, I wish I had my notebook with me. But next week I'm gonna bring my notebook and I'm gonna let you see it. But what I would do is just write this down and just write it. Just write it and have it in your notes. So I'm not saying right off the bat you gotta have it in your or write it over and over right off the rip and turn it into some writing assignment like in high school detention or something like that. But as long as you got this written down in your own handwriting, then it's gonna be easier for you to learn it. All right. Let me see. Then after that, I would then after that, right? After you get the Lashawan Qadash, after you get it written down in your notes somewhere, then I would go into these 5 characters, right? So let's see. If how I want to do this. It's a lot here. All right, I ain't gonna do that. But yeah, I would definitely get that written down in your notes somewhere. All right. Then after that, then I would go into these characters here. The Ka, the Ma, Na, Ha, and Za. Now these are just the 5 characters that changes from. Now these come in the beginning of a word or the middle of a word. And this is how that same character is going to look if it comes at the end of a word. And then I would just get familiar with these. And just know, if you don't know characters, all right, I will put this in your notes with your alphabet. That there are 5 characters that look different when it comes at the beginning versus the end of a word. And then I will focus on being able to identify those, because that is what trips up brothers. As they read in, they might be able to read through the Lashawan Qadash. They might be able to read through it during Sabbath service, during Lashawan Qadash class, things like that. But then once they get to the end of a word and they see these characters, and it's like, then we start to fumble. Then we gotta like, okay, now I gotta pause and look at the character sheet and then look down at and then now you freezing up. So that'll be the next thing that I will look up. All right. And get familiar with. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna do a little practice. All right, so let me see. You don't need to take a picture of this or anything at all? Or you already wrote it down? All right, no sir. All right, let's see what we want to do. All right, and if you notice, right? If you peep, right, as I was writing, I'm gonna write a couple characters. The purpose of writing these characters over and over, actually, it's not a good color. Let me get that blue. But the purpose of writing these characters over and over, right, is for your penmanship, for you to get familiar with it. All right. Just like how we can just write my name is such and such. Like we could just write the English language just straight out. All right. But with the Lashawan Qadash, we kind of have to take our time with it because we're going, not only is it going from right to left, but it's different characters and then things like that. All right. But that just comes from muscle memory. But that just comes from muscle memory. Just us being able to write the Lashawan or the English alphabet versus how difficult it seems for us to write the Lashawan Qadash. All right. So what we're gonna have to do is just write it. You're gonna come and just write the okay, so what characters is these first of all?
I'm like writing the word out.
No, so this ain't a word. Nah, not a character. But first, before you write the character, what character? What character is that? The first one.
I can write this at the bottom.
Just the character. Just write exactly what I just wrote.
Oh, okay.
Now imagine if you do it one more time. Do it again. All right, so this is what you want to start with that, and then add those two parts. And you ever notice like in like penmanship books, right? They'll have like the character, right? They'll have a character, and then they'll have like a little arrow. Like they'll have something like this, like, and then that's what they do in the penmanship books for a reason, because it'll tell you the most comfortable way to write each character. That's gonna be the easiest way to learn the Lashawan Qadash. So you take each character and do this with it, and just be like, then it's gonna be like, all right, boom. It's gonna be, you ain't gonna have to think about it because you done did it so much. All right, so try just like you did here. You try it 3 more times, and then go ahead to the next letter. Boom, easy money. Got it. And then we got What's the next character?
But nah. Yeah, but.
Come. God. Easy money. And then the next one.
You got.
Right. Go ahead. And then the next one.
I want to say rock. It's not. Okay, die.
I'm gonna go into that here in a second too, right before we get it better. See if Cindy. And then the next one.
Oh, Ma.
You said Ma?
Yeah.
No. I want to ask you a question though. Why did you say Ma?
Pretty much the closest looking one, but I'm thinking I'm wrong. It's on the top.
Nah, we're gonna get into it here in a second. So I'm gonna show you something. I'm just going in order. So the first one was I, second one was Ba, third Ga, Da, and now you right here.
All right.
All right. Come. No sweat. We're gonna go into that here in a second though. All right, kid. Give yourself a hand. All right. Let me say that real quick. You got I, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha. All right. So you go character by character. Like this is just the first 5 characters. You go character by character. Just go Abba Gada Ha, Abba Gada Ha Waza Khata Yaka Lama Nasa. Not only like if you just write down each character one by one, take your time with it. Maybe write them a couple times, just like we did here. Not only are you going to learn each character, but you're going to learn the Lashawan Qadash alphabet in order. And then also you're going to learn what characters look similar.
I'm just gonna say You think that's something good with the Lashawan?
And it's this like because it's like you did it on your own. Like you got to die and you was like, okay, this might be a rock. And that's what we went over last week. This is like if you look over, okay, like real quick, what I want you to do is go to a blank sheet and let me see. You say you can see this pretty well, right? Okay, so go through the Lashawan Qadash and go through each one that looks kind of like a dial, like one thing that you would confuse with a dial. All right, we're gonna start with that. How much time we got left? What time is it?
8:31.
8:30. All right, I'm gonna try to get through a little bit of this, but all right, no sweat. Okay, so da, right? That's the 4th one. Now, if you saw that, what would you confuse that with? Just
It'll be raw. The raw for sure.
or let's go in order from just so we can get it just so we can be so we can be meticulous, so we get every little thing right. So would you confuse? Does this look like a die? This one? You said no.
No. Why? That would be the.
Does it? Would you confuse it with a die?
It depends on how I was reading. If I'm like probably,
Okay, I'm gonna write it down.
and then maybe I want to pretty much get them to the field, but I might move it, so I'll write them down.
Come. All right.
Honk, no.
No.
Ta, no. Ta, no. Ya, no.
No. I'm gonna write this down I'm gonna show you for a reason though. Because you said something last week is gonna be very important, right?
Ka, no.
But what about this one?
Oh, the ending.
Come.
Yeah.
So we got. Let's see before we go on. All right, so Ka, right?
La,
Yeah, no.
No.
No. Ma,
ma, nah. Not the beginning, but the end.
the end. Ka. All right.
Sa,
Yeah, no.
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 I,
No.
I. Pa, ta, oh.
You wouldn't convince, or you wouldn't confuse any one of these?
Nah, it,
Okay, no problem. That's the one.
ta,
Uh-huh.
qua, and then rock. So,
Rock for sure. Now I'm gonna put pop here just for, you know what I mean? Just for the hell of it. And then rock, right? Now this is what we was talking about last week, all right? So this is all right, if you don't mind, just write down the sound of each one of these characters, and we're gonna talk about the difference once you're done with that. That's gonna be a dot, all right?
Then we got wa,
Wa,
then we got za,
za,
then we have ya,
ya,
then we have, not la, but it'd be na at the end.
la,
La. Na, hold on. Yeah, na.
la. So, this is the ya right here. Then the next one will be the
Oh, from the ending, okay. Ka. The ending of na. Then now we have pa, and then ra.
Give yourself a all right. So now we're gonna talk about a little bit of the differences. So first of all, the first thing you want to knock out is what confuses you about all of these?
It's either gonna be the mark that passes the line that's sharp, or the line that's coming right across the top, and like the angle of them too. So.
Got you. Okay, those are all good things. All good things that you want to take a note of. Why would you? Why do they look similar?
Because they all look like seven.
They all look like sevens. All right, so this is what you want to, and this is something I had to do. These look like sevens. These is gonna be the characters that look like sevens, and this is the majority of your characters. So that's the first thing you want to identify. All right, they all look like sevens. That you are gonna confuse one for the other because they all look like sevens. First thing you want to understand. Now you said something very important, right? You said what makes them different is the length of them. If it comes past the line, right? And this is an imaginary line. I just put this there for you to be able to kind of have a visualization of the differences. But this won't be there. But when you're reading it, you'll see some characters are longer than the others.
Mm-hmm.
So this part will be longer on some of them. And then the top, right? And then the angle. So what you want to do is identify each one of these characters and go through and be like, okay, what characteristics of this guy? And go by each character. Like, okay, what's the difference? And then another one right here. This is why I put pi right here. Because a lot of these characters look like Hangman. Like it got a hook. Like some characters got a hook right there. Let me just put this right here just for. I promise you, this is the only tedious part of this language. After you understand this, then you understand the language. After you get this, then you got it. Nobody could take this language from you. This is the part that makes people either quit or dive straight in. I'm just letting you know. But once you understand this, then can't nobody take this away from you. And this is your language. So, okay, so the da, right? Oh, what's good?
Man, I was thinking about I was on live talking to the dude. I was like, man, I'm Israelite. I bet you don't need no Hebrew. I was like, I don't.
And that's
I got typed in the comment. I was like, I just got to put in the abbreviations. So I was just like, why am I?
And you know what's that's so damn insulting. And that should be fuel for any brother and sister to learn this, because how arrogant is that? For your oppressor was you was on live, right? And who was it?
It was something that was talking about this spiritual and Anunnaki stuff.
Okay. So it's either not a brother, but it's either a heathen who, like we just went over in Psalms 83. They took crafty counsel against you to make sure you don't remember your language. And then once they beat your language out of you, they're going to be like, you don't even know Hebrew. How can you be the true people in this Bible? How can you be an Israelite and you don't even know Hebrew? How insulting is that? Were they going to beat your language out of you and then mock you for not knowing your language after they beat it out of you? That's part of the crafty counsel. That's why this is like when I go like that was the fuel for me personally. Like that's always the first thing they want to tell you. Like you don't even know your language. You don't even know you don't even know your culture. So I had to dive into this thing because there ain't no way you're gonna just beat my language out of me and then mock me. Like, get out of here with that. Or on the flip side, it's your brother trying to assimilate with your oppressor. Like you said, it's sound like some brother who's trying to assimilate with African culture, right? Trying to be like, oh, you ain't no Israelite. How you an Israelite? You don't even know Hebrew. Well, of course, dummy, because they beat our language out of us. Of course, I don't know Hebrew. If I knew Hebrew, then we wouldn't be in here in this country under our oppressor. We wouldn't be in hell. We wouldn't have served 400 years of captivity if I knew my language. So it's just so insulting. But that's always, like you said, the first thing that they want to do. They want to go to, oh, you don't even know Hebrew. That's why this is important. But once you do this, though, once you do these little steps right here, then it becomes nothing. It becomes easy. All right. So the da, right? The length. So we're gonna look at the length, right? Mm-hmm. The length of it doesn't extend past the line, right? So just a regular, a straight up and down. The top is pretty regular, pretty normal length, right? We're gonna use the die as a frame of reference. Pretty standard, all right? Die, standard length, standard top, length of the top. No angle on it. And it doesn't have a hook like the pop, right? Let me write one more thing, right? This part right here. We're gonna go into the why as well and show you the difference. All right. So certain characters has just a little, like that top extends a little bit past right here. Mm-hmm. So it has like a little bit of a, what I call a tail, just for understanding purposes. All right. So regular length, regular top, no angle, no hook, and it has a little bit of a tail. So the top extends a little bit past. Now the wah, right? You might want to take a picture of this as well, just so you can write it down in your notes and use it as a frame of reference for any character that looks like this. I'll go ahead and get out your way. And brothers and sisters online, watching online, you can pause it. If you're watching online, I recommend you come into class, whatever zone you're in. I recommend you come into class and actually be a part of Lashawan Qadash class so that you can ask a question, you can get breakdowns, things like that, and then also participate. Like you saw the brother getting on the board or writing as well. You're gonna want to do that. But if you're watching online, as well as after this class is over, you can go home and watch it again and pause, fast forward, rewind, screenshot, things like that. But okay, so we just went over the dot. Now the why. What's the difference? Yeah. So starting with the length, right? So let's start with the length.
The length of the tail, not the tail, but the length of the top is different and it's angled.
Well, let's start right here.
Okay.
Right
so
here.
the length of it is it's pretty much the same.
So it's the same as the dot, right? So that's just the standard, right? So it doesn't extend past the line. That's standard. And then the top, right? You said the top, it's
angle.
It's at an angle, and what else?
And it's shorter.
And it's shorter.
Right.
So that's the difference between the dot and the Y. And like you said, no tail. So it doesn't extend past the base. And then, so we just went over the length of the base, the top, the angle. Does it have a hook or not?
No hook.
No hook. So the hook will usually be right here. Right? This one don't got a hook. And it doesn't have a tail. All right. The za. All right, let's talk about it. What we got?
Basically the same length, standard length.
Standard length.
On the top length, on top of it, we got a curve going on.
This will be the tail.
Right. All right.
Right. So this has a tail on it. A little bit extends a little bit past the base. This tail has a little curve on it. This is a za. Right.
You can easily remember that one because the top of it looks like a Z.
Damn right. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought when I saw it too. And no hook. And what about the angle?
The angle. You said what?
Angle.
Oh, the angle. Oh, okay. No, I don't have an angle.
All right.
I mean, it do.
Slight angle. Yeah. Little curve on it. Now the yacht.
Yeah. Well, the length is way shorter.
Right. Way shorter.
The top is not as straight. It got the like the little curve a little bit. It ain't just like a straight line. I'll say that. And then no hook, no tail. That's pretty obvious one.
So the yacht is gonna be one of the easiest ones that you're gonna want to identify because it's the shortest. It's the only one that, like, the standard is it is from here to here. That's the standard length of the base. But this is the only one that has a short base. The only one. And it's short up top, and it's just like a common. You know what I mean? Just like a little. So whenever you see that in the Lashawan Qadash, when we're reading the Sabbath service, you know that that's a yacht, off the rip. And it's a preposition and a possessive. So a lot of these characters, like, you'll get familiar with because they're prepositions or possessives, and they use often. Like Salak Ya. Salak Ya is Ya is at the end of Salakia to mean me or mine. So you might use it often. Like Salak means forgive, Ya means me. I'll go into a couple more examples. Once we get back up on the podium and go into some scriptures, we'll kind of dig deep into the prepositions and possessives as well. But I just want to focus on the shape for right now. Now the Ka. First, you got to know that this is one of those characters that has the alternative pictograph for when it comes at the end of a word. So first, you know that this comes at the end of a word. Off the rip. And then, okay, so what's different about this link?
The link passes the line.
Passes the line. All right. First thing you want to know, and usually, and that's the easy thing about, that's the simple thing about the Salakia. These characters that come at the end, usually they extend past the line.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, once you see that, especially at the end, that'll make it easier for you to remember that they just automatically extend by the end, past the end. All right, so what else? So we got the length, it extends past the line. The top.
Standard size is on dot.
It's pretty much the same as the dot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Angle.
No angle.
No angle. Hook. No hook. And then tail.
Yep.
And a little bit of a tail, just like the dot. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much the dot. The difference between the dot and the Ka is what? Just the length. Right. And then now we got the na.
Oh, you said okay. And so
No.
the length to be passed line,
right.
Longer than usual. The top, it got the length did. Hold on, I'm trying to see.
A lot. Let me step over
The
here.
groove. Okay. Yeah, so all right. So if you put at an angle, the top will be put at an angle as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then no hook, no tail.
No tail. All right. And then the pop. All right. The pop.
Okay, so pop, the length is pretty much longer. The top is not at an angle, but it's not an angle, but it don't have this. It's not the straight look. Straighten up and down. They got like curves. They got a big curve.
Right.
Curve to it, and then they got a tail. Not hook. Hook.
Right. And then the rod.
And then the rod is pretty much like y'all, but it's longer. Like the top will be long. Yeah, the top is longer. And then the length. The top is longer, and then the length is kind of longer too. So the way it's used, it'll be different because y'all be at the top.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So the ya is shorter, so this would be like just regular. It would be like regular length. I kind of ran out of room, so I had to kind of put it in. But yeah, It will be long. It's like a ya. I see what you're saying. It's like the ya, but just longer.
Right.
And no hook and no tail.
Right. No.
All right. So boom, we just went through it. Now every character that you see that look like a 7, you can just identify the difference. Now what I want you to do, and anybody online, what I want you to do 2 things. We're gonna go through one more thing before we get up out of here. We got 8 minutes left. I'm gonna try to get through it real quick. What I want you to do, you took a picture, right? I want you to go home and write down each of those things we just talked about.
Right.
So just write it down, write down the differences, and just so you have it in your notes. All right. And then, brothers and sisters watching online, take a screenshot. I want y'all to do the same thing because we're gonna bring that into next class. All right. Now it's another one. It's another group of characters that kind of look the same that trips up brothers and sisters often. All right. Let's see. All right, before we get into that, I just want to talk about this character right here. All right. Well, you know what character that is?
Ba.
Right, Ba. So what's the difference between a Ba and a Ra? All right.
Oh, Ba and Ra have a line with the bottom.
Right. It just has this base on it.
I was just gonna say that.
Like a little hangman base.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Ba's kind of, it has its own distinct shape for the most part, but if you don't make that distinction, then you could mix it up for a lot of characters. So I just wanted to point that out real quick before we go to the next thing. You can add it to your to what we just went over. You can add it to something to like if you'd like to, you know what I mean, just to make sure you understand it fully. Now I'm gonna get these next couple ones up here. All right.
All right, so I got the long line. So it'll be Ha.
All right. You wanna go ahead and what you probably want to do the same thing you did for the other ones, just take a picture and then write them out later. Yeah. All right, so you go ahead, after you write them down.
So write them out.
Yeah,
Or just write the
sound.
The sound of them up.
Yeah, just the sound.
Ha. Ha. I'm trying to say the pronunciation. Ha. All right.
You just stop.
Ha. And then Ma. Yeah. Yeah.
Which mod is this?
It's the beginning.
All right.
Okay, I'm glad you told me this. So this be the mob at the end. And now let me stop.
They see why I put that up there, right?
Which one?
The beginning, mod, the end, and the sock.
Because they all pretty much look exactly the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that last one.
Oh, see what's better be thought.
Right.
Thought.
Huh. Come on. You get something in hand. All right, so let me think. What are these? Okay, let me go ahead and just for the sake of time, right? All of these, we've seen this symbol before. Where have you seen this symbol before?
Like an N. In the English
N.
language.
Yeah. Take this character.
Oh, wow.
You got
It's
it.
math.
Con.
I said I can't think of anything. I ain't been in school a minute, but it's math equation. I can't think of it.
Pi.
Yep, pi.
Pi symbol.
I knew I was on show and said it.
Yeah, that's where they got it from.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think pi is Greek, and the tha is a theta, which is also Greek.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They get that the Greek is in like the
Greek fraternity.
Yeah, the Greek is the Old Testament or the New Testament is written in Greek. So that was one of our later captivity. Like we technically still under the Greco-Roman captivity.
What's the name? What's the name sitting in this class yesterday? The Old Testament was written. Yeah, like you just said. Said it yesterday.
Yeah, Old Testament is written in Greek, and that's why we still join fraternities. You know what I mean? That's why we still a lot of American customs, a lot of American monuments and buildings is mirrored after Rome. Like and that's why like our captors today, like Italy, who else? Like I think what is it? I think Rome is a city in Italy, right? Or vice versa. I believe Rome is a city in it, but they're those people, like Americans, like with them bell pepper noses and all that, like those are the captors we under today. So that's why when we see our oppressors' alphabet, when we see their Greek alphabet, their American alphabet, it mirrors our alphabet because they're our captors and they got their alphabet from us. But all of these characters kind of look like this symbol, the pi symbol, which is, we see it in a math, we see it in they Roman, things like that. Now, what's the difference, right? Now, with this one, it's a couple things you want to look out for. Let me see that marker, Phil. So, you look out for a gap. That's pretty much the most obvious thing that I can look at for the sake of time, right? So if there's a gap in the letter somewhere or the character somewhere, where it's going to be at, if it has a base or no base, and if there's a curve anywhere. All right, so this high right here. Now, off the rip, I'm going to just keep it a buck with you. A lot of brothers, you're going to confuse these three characters. So a ha and a cha and a tha. You're gonna confuse those three characters. If you look in your phone, they all look similar. All right. Well, what's the difference though?
Well, one have a gap, one don't. High, and then from top to down, they got the curve. They got this closed, but they got the curve.
Right. So the ha got the gap. The ha looks like the ha, but it doesn't have a gap. And then the tha looks like the ha, but it also doesn't have a gap. And instead of being straight, it has a curve on each side. All right. Then these three right here, you're gonna confuse these right here as well. You're just keeping it above you. You don't confuse these. So what's the difference between a ma at the beginning and a ma at the end?
The mine at the beginning have a gap at the bottom. Well, the base is open.
Right? So open base.
And mine at the end is closed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's closed.
So that's simple as that. So if it come at the beginning or middle of a word, it has an open base. The ma, if it comes at the end of a word, it has a closed base. All right? And then sa.
So okay, it's closed. It's closed, and it's more shaped like a. It's more shaped like a circle. More circle.
I believe. I'm glad you said that. I believe. I think I wrote it with an opening at the top. But I believe if you look in your phone, if you look in Bible Hub, it's gonna look just like this. It's just gonna be a circle with a tail on it. All right. But that's it right there. That's it. Them the characters that you want to look out for. Now, the rest of them kind of speak for themselves. Yeah, I think if you look right up here, it's closed. And a lot of times, like especially in Psalms or not Psalms, Leviticus 23, you'll see it at the end of phrases. And I think next week we're going to we'll go into the pictographs. Sa means Sa is a pictograph meaning that represents the word sawak, which means established, right? So you'll see this at the end of phrases. Or like when the Most High is, or it's like when a prophet like Moses in Leviticus, when he's like laying down a law, when he's establishing laws, you'll see it at the end of a lot of like Leviticus 23 when he's establishing the feast days. You'll see it at the end of it. You'll see that sa, it'll just be a sa standing alone. Now, I'm assuming that means that something is being established, because that's where I see it at. But that's what that sa means. A sa, like next week we're going to the pictographs, and we're going to the pictographs, and but once we go into the pictographs, this sa means it's represented by the word sawak, which means to establish, right? Which each one of these characters has a pictograph, but that's what that word means. And you'll see it stand alone at the end of a lot of scriptures. And I'm assuming, I would have to ask, but I'm assuming that means that something is being established. Mm-hmm. But let's see what's time. All right, with that, I don't see any questions or comments or anything in the chat. You had any questions or anything? Or anything you wanted to touch on before we close out?
I was going to ask a question, but I lost the Bible the Hebrew, but I'm pretty much see what you're saying. With the side, I was gonna be shaped like a more of a circle, and the rock gonna be like a box, and the base gonna be like a straight line instead of a. So yeah, so really compare to the base more when it comes to them. Base, open code. Yeah.
Now here's the thing about what you just did, and what you did was exactly correct. You do this one time, identify all the differences, and be able to identify them off site. Like we just did this class one time. You won't have to do it anymore. Like you took your pictures.
I got to take another one.
Okay, no sweat. Take your picture, and then but once you take your picture, you take this home, and you write this down in your notebook, you'll never have to do this again. This is a very tedious thing. This is something that you just gotta have the zeal to do. Like nobody taught me this. Nobody went through each character and was like, okay, what's the difference between this character and this character? Nobody did this. I don't think anybody did this with you in kindergarten when you was learning the English alphabet.
I remember being at home with my grandma. Writing up.
You just figured it out. This is the most tedious part about learning the language, but we just did it. Next class, you're not gonna. If you write it down in your notebook, you won't ever have to do this again. You'll just remember. It'll be nothing. And then once you read in the Lashawan Qadash is gonna be so easy. It's gonna be so easy after this, I promise. But let me see. If there are no more questions or comments, we're gonna go ahead and close it out right there. You know what I mean? The water to the brothers and sisters that endure. You know what I mean? Make sure you, again, you know what I mean, just to reiterate, the homework, you know what I mean, for the night, for next class, just go through these, what we just went through, write them down in your notes, right? Write them down in your notes, write down the differences so that you have them in your notes, so that if you need to, you can reference them. It's gonna be for you. Like, if I ever, like, this ain't, you know what I mean, this ain't your oppressor's, you know what I mean, your oppressor's grade school, or your oppressor's, you know what I mean, college course, they just give you homework just for the hell of it. Like this, what I'm telling you to do is for your benefit. So what I would advise, again, just go home, write this down. Write it down, get it in your notes. Maybe take like a page or two. And then we also went over the penmanship. So, you know what I mean? It would also help you to be able to identify each character if you just went through each character and just wrote it down. Like, I'm going to bring my notebook in next week and show you exactly how I did it. Just like kindergarten style, you go character by character and just write it down over and over like we did at the beginning of the class. I would advise you to do that. That might take a little longer. Like, for me personally, I did it. It took me about a week to do it. Just because, not straight, but I might have took like, I woke up one day and did maybe like 4 characters. And then the next day I did like 3 or 4 characters, and then so on and so forth. And then doing that over and over daily, by the 7th day I had every letter written down in my notebook, and I had the penmanship down. I was comfortable writing every character. So I would advise brothers to do that. But other than that, we'll go ahead, give a courtesy salute. We'll say, I Majid, which means to stand. Give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Majid Shabbat. I Majid, Barak, Yahweh, Shem Yahweh, Shabrak, Yadi Matah, Sar. Don't turn your face to sisters. Give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Majid Shabbat. I Majid, Barak, Yahweh, Shemar Latan, Ba Shem Yahweh, Yadi Matah. Dismiss.